The night in Los Angeles was dark and still, but the hip-hop world was in turmoil. The rivalry between Drake and Kendrick Lamar had escalated beyond just music. It had become a personal war. Diss tracks, subliminal shots, and social media battles. Everything was spiraling out of control. One of the most unexpected players in this feud was tennis legend Serena Williams. Deeply connected to the hip-hop world, she had been close friends with both Drake and Kendrick for years. Both had referenced her in their music, and Drake's admiration for her had been widely talked about. But now, things were different. When Kendrick texted Serena, he carefully chose his words. "Who do you think is right? I really want to know." Serena stared at her phone for a moment, unsure of what to say. Then another message popped up, this time from Drake. "I need to know whose side you're on. There's no gray area anymore." This wasn't just a rap battle anymore. They were both waiting for her answer, but Serena didn't reply. A mysterious invitation. A few days later, an exclusive meeting was set up at one of the most secretive locations in Los Angeles, a place where only the biggest names in the industry were invited. The goal was to bring both artists face to face and attempt to negotiate a truce. But in the world of hip-hop, peace was never guaranteed. Serena decided to attend. She might be the only person capable of stopping this war. Kendrick was the first to arrive, dressed in a black hoodie, his usual serious expression on his face. When Drake walked in, he had two bodyguards with him, wearing his signature smirk. Serena sat between them. "This nonsense has to stop," Serena said firmly. "You're both legends in the making. Is this feud really worth it?" Drake took a deep breath and let out a slight chuckle. "This isn't just a feud, Serena. This is about who we are. I built an empire. He refuses to acknowledge that." Kendrick locked eyes with Drake. "You didn't build an empire. You built a stage. The people decide what's real, not popularity." A thick silence filled the room. Serena shook her head. "You're both being ridiculous. Make music, not war." But neither Kendrick nor Drake was willing to back down. A bombshell revelation. Drake paused for a moment, then pulled out his phone and played an audio recording. "There's something people forget about in this war, Kendrick," he said with a smirk. "You should hear this." The recording played. It was a private conversation between Kendrick and his former manager, revealing shocking details about how Kendrick allegedly used industry connections to secure major awards. Kendrick's face hardened. "Where did you get this?" he whispered. Drake held up his phone. "I have my sources." Serena looked horrified. "Drake, you can't do this. This isn't just about music anymore. This could destroy his career." Drake turned his eyes to Kendrick. "And what about you? What do you have on me?" Kendrick smirked slightly. "I came prepared." He pulled out his own phone and opened a file. "I know you're not as real as you claim to be," he said, his voice quiet but sharp. Then he played a video. It was undeniable proof that some of Drake's biggest songs weren't written by him, but by a secret team of ghostwriters. Drake's face went blank. Serena buried her head in her hands. "You two, you've lost your minds. You thought it was over? It's just beginning." The tension in the room was unbearable. Seconds of silence stretched on. Then, Drake stood up, narrowing his eyes at Kendrick. "This war will never end, man," he said, his voice laced with amusement. Kendrick tilted his head. "Some wars aren't meant to end." And with that, he walked out of the room. Serena called after them. "Do you two really want to keep this going?" But neither of them looked back. Drake stared at the ground, clenched his jaw, and muttered, "This is just the beginning." That night, social media exploded. The hip-hop world was buzzing with speculation about what had happened. The diss tracks were already in the works. A new fire had been ignited in the rap game, and this war wasn't dying out. It was only getting bigger.